You've felt this before. You walk into a room, a house, a job, a friendship, and something feels off. You can't name it at first, but after weeks, months, maybe years, you notice you're different. Quieter, smaller, less like yourself. And you wonder, when did that happen? Here's the truth most people don't talk about. The places you spend your time change you. Not just your mood, not just your day. They change who you are, slowly, quietly, and most of the time you don't even notice it's happening. You think it's just stress, or age, or life getting harder. But it's not. It's the environment, the people, the atmosphere, the unspoken rules, the way things are done, the way you're expected to be. Some environments let you breathe. They let you think. They let you be yourself without apologizing for it. But other environments, they do the opposite. They press on you. They make you smaller. They tell you, without words, that who you are is too much, or not enough, or wrong somehow. And here's the part that hurts. You don't always see it coming. These environments don't announce themselves. They don't show up with warning signs. They look normal. They might even look good from the outside. A stable job, a long friendship, a family home, a relationship that's fine. But inside, you're fading. You're editing yourself. You're staying quiet when you used to speak. You're saying yes when you mean no. You're pretending everything is fine when you feel like a stranger in your own life. And the worst part? You start to think it's you. You start to think you're the problem. You're too sensitive. You're too difficult. You're asking for too much. But that's not true. Sometimes it's not you. It's where you are. If you're enjoying this message, subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who needs it. Now, let's continue. And the real reason this happens is not what most people think. The first hidden environment is this: a place where no one asks how you really are. Think about it. You show up, you go through your day. People say hello, they ask surface questions. How's it going? Everything okay? But no one stops. No one looks at you. No one really wants to know. And at first, you don't mind. You're busy, they're busy, life moves fast. But after a while, something changes. You stop offering, you stop sharing, you stop saying what's really going on inside you. Because why would you? No one's listening anyway. This kind of place teaches you to disappear. Not physically, you're still there, but emotionally, you learn to stay hidden. You learn that your feelings don't matter, that your struggles are a burden, that it's better to keep things light, keep things easy, keep things surface. Have you felt this? It happens in families, it happens at work, it happens in friendships that used to feel close, but now feel empty. You talk, but you're not really talking. You're there, but you're not really there. And here's what happens over time. You forget how to be real. You forget what it feels like to say what you actually think, to admit when you're tired, to share when you're scared. You become so good at hiding that you don't even know what you're hiding anymore. You just know something's missing. This environment doesn't destroy you with cruelty. It destroys you with silence, with indifference, with the quiet message that you're not worth the time it takes to really know you. And the painful part? You start to believe it. You start to think maybe you're not that interesting. Maybe your life isn't that important. Maybe it's better to just blend in and not make waves. But that's not living. That's surviving. And this is where most people get hurt. The second hidden environment is this: a place where you can never relax. You know this feeling. You're always a little tense, always watching what you say, always checking your tone, your face, your words. You can't just be. You have to perform. You have to manage. You have to make sure everything stays calm. Because if you slip, if you say the wrong thing, if you show the wrong emotion, everything falls apart. This happens in homes where someone's mood controls the whole house. You wake up and you check, are they okay today? Are they angry? Are they quiet? And depending on the answer, you adjust. You tiptoe, you stay small. It happens in jobs where your boss changes the rules every week. What was fine yesterday is a problem today. What they praised last month, they criticize now. You can never get it right because right keeps moving. It happens in relationships where you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. Things are good, but for how long? You can't enjoy the good moments because you're already bracing for the bad ones. Does this sound familiar? This kind of environment wears you down, not in big dramatic ways, in small daily ways. You're tired all the time, but you're not doing anything physically hard. You're just exhausted. From managing, from watching, from trying to keep everything stable. And over time, you lose something important: peace. You forget what it feels like to just exist without worry, to speak without calculating, to laugh without wondering if it's too loud, to be yourself without fear. You become a smaller, quieter version of yourself, not because you want to, because you have to, because it's the only way to survive in that space. And here's the truth: you're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. And no human being can thrive in a place where they can never let their guard down. But it doesn't stop there. The third hidden environment is this: a place where everything you do is criticized. Not always loudly, sometimes it's quiet, a sigh, a look, a comment that sounds like advice but feels like judgment. You're doing it wrong. That's not how I would do it. Are you sure about that? And maybe they say they're trying to help. Maybe they say they just want what's best for you. But after a while, you notice something. Nothing you do is ever quite good enough. You clean the house. It's not clean enough. You finish a project. It could have been better. You try something new. They point out what went wrong. You don't try anything. They criticize you for that too. Have you lived this? This environment teaches you to stop trusting yourself, because every time you make a choice, someone tells you it's the wrong one. Every time you try, someone finds the flaw. Every time you feel proud, someone reminds you of what you missed. And slowly, you stop trying. You stop choosing. You stop trusting your own mind. Because what's the point? No matter what you do, it won't be right. No matter how hard you work, it won't be enough. You become hesitant, uncertain, always second-guessing, always asking for permission, always checking if it's okay before you move. And the cruelest part? You start to criticize yourself the same way. You don't need them to point out your mistakes anymore. You do it for them. You've learned the lesson so well that you carry it inside you now. This kind of place doesn't just change your behavior, it changes how you see yourself. You start to believe you're not capable, not smart, not reliable, not enough. But here's what they don't tell you. The problem was never you. The problem was the voice that never let you grow. And it gets clearer once you see the next part. The fourth hidden environment is this: a place where your needs are always too much. You ask for something simple: help, time, a conversation, a small change. And the response you get, in words or in silence, is this: you're asking too much, you're being demanding, you're being difficult. So you stop asking. You learn to handle everything yourself. You learn to make do with less. You learn to shrink your needs down to nothing so you don't bother anyone. And after a while, you forget you're even allowed to need things. This happens in relationships where one person's needs always come first. Their schedule, their preferences, their comfort. And yours? They're always negotiable. Always something you should be able to handle on your own. It happens in families where asking for help is seen as weakness, where needing support means you're not strong enough, where everyone else seems fine, so why can't you be fine too? It happens in jobs where you're expected to do more with less. More hours, less pay. More responsibility, less support. And if you say something, you're told you should be grateful you even have a job. Does this ring true for you? Here's what this does to you. It teaches you that your needs don't matter, that wanting basic things, rest, respect, kindness, help, is selfish, that the right way to live is to give and never ask for anything back. And you become someone who prides themselves on not needing anyone, on being strong, on handling everything alone. But inside, you're empty, you're running on nothing, and you're so tired of pretending you're fine. Because you're not fine, you're depleted, and there's a reason for that. It's not because you're weak, it's because you've been living in a place that takes and never gives back. And no one can survive that forever. But here's the part most people overlook. The fifth hidden environment is this: a place where your past is always brought up. You made a mistake 5 years ago. You said something you regret. You went through a hard time and didn't handle it well. And now it's used against you, again and again. Every argument, it comes back. Every disagreement, it's mentioned. Every time you try to move forward, you're reminded of who you used to be, what you did wrong, how you failed. And the message is clear. You haven't changed. You'll never change. You're still that person who messed up. This happens in families where old wounds are never allowed to heal, where forgiveness is offered in words but never in action, where every conversation eventually circles back to the same old story. It happens in relationships where your past mistakes become a weapon. You apologized, you changed, you grew, but it doesn't matter. It's still there, waiting to be thrown at you when things get hard. It happens in friendships where one bad moment defines you forever. You were going through something difficult. You weren't yourself. But now, years later, you're still paying for it. Have you experienced this? This kind of place keeps you stuck, not because you haven't changed, but because you're not allowed to change. You're locked into an old version of yourself. And no matter what you do now, no matter how much you grow, you're always pulled back to who you were then. And over time, you start to wonder, what's the point of trying? What's the point of changing? If they're never going to see me differently, why bother? So you stop growing. You stop trying. You accept the role you've been given, the one who messed up, the one who can't be trusted, the one who will always be defined by their worst moment. But you're not that person anymore, and you never should have been reduced to one mistake. And this is where most people get hurt. The sixth hidden environment is this: a place where you're compared to everyone else. Your sibling did it better, your coworker is faster, your neighbor has it together, your friend's life looks perfect, and you're always falling short. It's not always said out loud. Sometimes it's just a look, a comment, a story about someone else's success that's clearly meant to make a point about your lack of it. And the message you hear over and over is this: you're not as good as them. This happens in families where parents hold up one child as the example and the others as the disappointment, where love feels like a competition, where being yourself isn't enough. You have to be better than someone else to matter. It happens at work where you're constantly measured against your coworkers, where collaboration is replaced with competition, where your value isn't about what you contribute, but about whether you're doing more than the person next to you. It happens in friendships where someone always has to one-up you. You share good news, they share bigger news. You talk about a struggle, they've had it worse. You can never just have your moment. Does this feel familiar? Here's what this does to you. It makes you feel like you're never enough. No matter what you accomplish, someone did it better. No matter how hard you try, someone tried harder. No matter who you are, someone else is more. And you stop celebrating yourself. You stop feeling proud. You stop sharing your wins because they always feel small compared to someone else's. You become someone who only sees what you lack, what you didn't do, how you fell short. But here's the truth they don't tell you. You were never supposed to be anyone else. You were only ever supposed to be you, and that should have always been enough. But it doesn't stop there. The seventh hidden environment is this: a place where you're expected to be grateful for the bare minimum. You're given scraps and told to call it a feast. You're given coldness and told it could be worse. You're given half-hearted effort and told you should be happy anyone's trying at all. And if you say you want more, you're ungrateful, you're demanding, you're never satisfied. This happens in relationships where basic respect is treated like a gift, where someone shows up occasionally and expects endless credit for it, where doing the bare minimum is framed as going above and beyond. It happens in families where love is conditional, where affection is earned, not given, where you have to prove you deserve kindness, and even then it's offered sparingly. It happens at work, where you're told you should be thankful for bad pay, long hours, and no support, where asking for fair treatment is seen as entitlement, where the company does less and less, and you're expected to smile and say thank you. Have you been here? This kind of place rewires how you think. You start to believe that wanting basic things, kindness, consistency, effort, respect, is asking too much. You start to lower your standards. You start to accept less and less until you're living on crumbs and calling it enough. And you become someone who's afraid to want more, afraid to expect more, afraid to ask for what you actually need, because you've been told again and again that you should just be grateful for what you have. But gratitude isn't supposed to keep you small. Gratitude isn't supposed to make you accept mistreatment. Real gratitude exists alongside standards. It exists alongside self-respect. And when you're in a place that tries to manipulate you with guilt every time you want something real, that's not a place that values you. That's a place that wants to keep you low so you never realize you deserve better. But here's the part most people overlook. Now, here's what all 7 of these environments have in common. They all make you forget who you are. Not on purpose, maybe, not always with bad intentions, but the result is the same. You become someone smaller, someone quieter, someone who doubts themselves, someone who's lost touch with their own voice, their own needs, their own worth. And the hardest part? You don't always realize it's happening. You adjust, you adapt. You tell yourself it's just life, it's just getting older, it's just how things are. But it's not. When you're in the wrong environment, you pay for it. With your peace, with your confidence, with your sense of self. And after enough time, you look in the mirror and don't fully recognize the person looking back. You wonder, when did I become so unsure? When did I start apologizing for everything? When did I stop knowing what I want? And here's the answer: when you stayed too long in a place that was never meant for you. Because here's the truth people don't say enough. Not every place is meant for every person. Some places are good for others but wrong for you. Some people are fine in situations that would break you. And that's okay. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. You're allowed to recognize when something isn't working. You're allowed to admit when a place, a job, a relationship, a home doesn't feel right anymore. You're allowed to say, "This is hurting me," even if no one else sees it, even if everyone else thinks it's fine. You're allowed to protect yourself. You're allowed to choose environments that let you breathe, that let you grow, that let you be yourself without shrinking, without hiding, without apologizing. And no, it's not always easy to leave. It's not always possible to leave right away. But recognizing the truth is the first step. And the truth is this: you are not the problem. The environment is. And it gets clearer once you see the next part. So where does this leave you? It leaves you with a choice. Not always an easy one, not always an immediate one, but a choice nonetheless. You can stay in environments that drain you, that criticize you, that make you small. You can keep adjusting, keep shrinking, keep pretending it's fine. Or you can start, slowly, to move towards something different. And that doesn't always mean leaving. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. Sometimes it means speaking up. Sometimes it means spending less time in certain places and more time in others. Sometimes it just means recognizing the truth and refusing to blame yourself anymore. Because that's where the real change begins. Not when you fix the environment, not when other people change, but when you stop telling yourself that you're the problem. When you stop thinking you're too sensitive, too difficult, too much. When you realize, I'm not broken, I'm just in the wrong place. And once you see that, everything shifts. You start to notice what drains you and what fills you. You start to recognize which people make you feel small and which ones remind you who you really are. You start to trust yourself again. You start to remember that you had a voice before someone told you to stay quiet, that you had confidence before someone made you doubt yourself, that you had needs before someone taught you they didn't matter. And slowly, carefully, you start to rebuild. Not the person you became in those environments, but the person you were always meant to be. The person who exists underneath all the adjustments, all the fear, all the shrinking. That person is still there, and they're worth fighting for. So if you're in a place that's slowly destroying who you really are, know this: it's not too late. You can still choose yourself. You can still walk towards something better. You can still come back to who you are. If this message helped you, subscribe so you don't miss the next reflection. Leave a like and share this with someone who needs to hear this today.